We all know that inflation is bad and the homelessness crisis in America also bad. Did you know how badly they are intersecting though? I gotta show you some of these stats because they are amazing, devastating. And first, I wanna put it in perspective, context for the crisis. Back in January of 2020, before all of what we've been through over the past few years, there were more than 580,000 people in America experiencing homelessness. Now, in interviews, shelter officials in 15 different states have all reported a dramatic increase in the number of people, particularly single mothers, seeking services this year. In some cases, wait lists have doubled or tripled in a matter of months. And what's interesting is that it is not just that the number is going up, but the nature of the crisis is also changing during and post-pandemic. In the past, they say in the Washington Post, homelessness has often befallen those going through hard times after losing a job, shouldering unexpected medical expenses, or dealing with ongoing health problems. However, this time around, shelters say they're seeing a rise in families who still have steady, even good paying jobs, but cannot find a home they can afford, even to rent. These are not people who lost their job. There was some sort of massive nationwide economic crisis or that medical bankruptcy. And so now they find themselves, they have a job. It's just still impossible to maintain the rent. And here's how bad it is. This stat is, I think, the most amazing stat I've read in literally months. Every $100 increase in median rent is associated with a 9% increase in the estimated homelessness rate, according to a 2020 report by the US Government Accountability Office. Okay, every 100% is a significant jump in homelessness. So what has been happening in terms of rent? The national median asking rent jumped to a record $2,002 in May, up 15% from $1,738 just a year ago. So a nearly $300 rise nationwide in 1 year. Judging by the math we saw back in 2020, that would be something like a more than a quarter increase in homelessness due to just 1 year in rent rise. So anyway, Brett, like we know that prices are rising for a lot of things. We focus on gas and stuff like that. The rent problem, it doesn't just mean that the people who live in those places have to pay more. It is driving tons of people out of housing.
There's a video coming out on TYT Investigates. It either came out last night or it's coming out today. It's a mom who had a job and they lost it during the pandemic. And she just explains, she's like, we've had jobs. We just can't find a job. I lived in an RV. It got cited and repoed, and now we live in a van. And we have resumes, like we have the experience of squeaking by in America under our belt. And just when times got just marginally harder, they lost everything. What are they going to do? And what's happening in the economy right now, as far as I'm willing to appraise it, is all of these companies had, and these landlords and everyone had, they lost a certain amount of income when people stayed home and didn't have to do the things that would happen if they had to go out every day. Not having time, you can't do a lot. And now they're just trying to get as much of it back as quickly as possible before they get in trouble and before they ruin the economy and get bailed out. So they're trying to do this. Like you can look at gas prices. Gas prices, they're coming down for the last 3 weeks. But what happened was you looked at how much it cost to make gas and it was lower than it was way back in the day when gas was a lot cheaper than it is now. Yeah. They're just screwing you. And if you are a free market capitalist, you should be livid. Because this is price fixing. This is people that are flexing as a result of a monopoly in a market where you just can't, like there's no startup oil companies. There's no mom and they run the gas, they're at the people, you cannot, normal people don't own gas stations. Well, Brad, it costs millions of dollars to do.
I think a lot of people hope that the rise of like small refineries on Etsy, they thought that would balance out some of this, but no, you're right. This is price fixing. And the Republicans have been talking nonstop about gas prices and trying to never identify what the actual reason for the increase is.
Right.
In any event, this is just devastating. If only there had been some politicians who saw this coming years ago and tried to raise the issue of people being evicted, people being foreclosed on, early on in the pandemic. If only someone had done that or been listened to in the cases where they did. Anyway,
it sucks too because like if there's a pause on having to pay loans back or any kind of moratorium that happened, rather than allowing people to aggregate some kind of nest egg that's any significance, every other thing that people could steal money from you remotely affiliated with any kind of business activity, they have.
Yeah,
and
that's true. Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a simple solution. I don't know. Really fast though, just seemingly related to this perhaps. And maybe I only noticed this because I just spent a week in Knoxville. Tennessee just decided to make unauthorized camping on public lands a felony. Consequences include a possible increase in prison populations due to the felony penalties for homeless people camping illegally. And they say it's intended to cut into the rising tide of homeless camping on public property, including parks and highways. The law also makes soliciting or camping alongside roadways or bridges illegal as a Class C misdemeanor. To be clear, it's intended to cut down on the people camping on that particular spot. It doesn't, of course, do anything about the fact that people need to camp on those spots. They will have to camp somewhere, but they won't be there, I guess. Oh, perhaps related. The average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Nashville, Tennessee is currently $1,730. That's up 32% from last year. So that's like a 36% increase in homelessness, judging by the GAO's numbers, GOA's numbers. Yeah, devastating. It's devastating nationally, it's devastating individual areas, and these sort of little patchwork fixes to try to pretend that it's not there. I get it, people are gonna respond in different ways, but it's not fixing the problem, clearly. And I'm not even saying that I have the solution. I'm an idiot. Why would you come to me for the solution? But we can identify the problem, and there are people who study this.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.